Same season. Ozone. Season 2. New year, same season. City stay frozen. Big apple pressure when you step in the ozone, man. Jets, Knicks, Giants, pinstripes, orange and blue. Whole city locked in, yeah, they tuned in too. Press play, turn it up, yeah, the tone stay polling. If it's New York sports, welcome to the ozone. Welcome to the ozone. Same city, New Year, same pressure, new tone. New York, boys loud, it's the ozone. Yeah, New York outside again. New Year, same season. Ozone, season 2. Let's go.
You have entered the ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here. You guys are officially into the ozone. It's your boy Omar. And not only am I on your TV, I'm in your car. I'm in your AirPods. I'm everywhere where you can listen. I might be on your Meta glasses because your boys are on audio podcast form too. We came back with a bang. We came back from a break. I feel rejuvenated. I feel refreshed. But also, super producer Dave is here as well. And he feels refreshed. He's coming from the island. Brother, it's a new week. It's been a couple weeks. How we feeling?
Brother, I am refreshed. I am rejuvenated. I just came back from an amazing, 9 days, 10 days at Puerto Rico. I explored the island. I went coast to coast. It was amazing. I had an amazing time. The food was amazing. My wife is upset. She misses the food. The coconut mojitos were hitting. But brother, in that 2 week, we missed a lot of news in that time. So I think we got to get into it.
We missed a lot of news. Obviously, the Knicks played 6 games from our last recording. So there's a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. This is This Week in Knicks.
This Week in Knicks.
All right, y'all. This is This Week in Knicks. This is where we cover our New York Knicks. And the super producer Dave said on the monologue, it's been a while. It's been a while. The Knicks, since our last recording, the Knicks were coming off, I believe it was a win. No, let me check that. Yeah, I believe it was a win. Oh no, was it a loss? Was it the Pacers game, brother? I think was the last game.
We lost that Pacers game.
Covered.
Yeah.
It was the Sixers win. So it was the Sixers blowout. Obviously, guys, since then the Knicks have gone 4-2. A lot has happened. Obviously, the Knicks came back from the All-Star break, and what we saw was the Knicks battled the Pistons. And I know that this game happened a couple weeks and a lot's happened since. But, the conversation, brother, the Knicks did look good in the first quarter or so. But then after that, obviously Detroit pretty much took care of the Knicks. Obviously, it was alarming because Jalen Durham was out, obviously, because of the suspension. Isaiah Stewart was out. But the Knicks just didn't have that energy, the dog in them. But, the Knicks, as we touched on, they went 4-2. They bounced back, got a big comeback win against Houston, being down 18 points, having that big fourth quarter. They go on and beat Chicago. Then they lose to Cleveland. Cleveland was a tough one. I just think the Knicks didn't come with a lot of energy for that game. It was the first time meeting Cleveland with James Harden. The Knicks lost that one by 15. And then the Knicks came back, beat Milwaukee, and then a big win on Sunday. As of this recording, we're coming off the big win right now off the San Antonio Spurs where we put belt to ass on them Spurs. And then now, obviously, as this recording, we don't know if the Knicks are going to, winning against Toronto or going to win against Toronto. And then tonight, they got OKC. But, brother, just what's your analysis? What's your recap, I guess, your thoughts on the Knicks going 4-2 from the last time we recorded?
I mean, it's revealing. It's telling us that the Knicks are exactly where they need to be. I would say, we lost that game to Detroit. We lost that game, and I just had it up right now again. We lost that game to Cleveland. But I'm okay with those losses in the sense that yeah, Cleveland, you got your win, fine. The guys were off that night. And then Detroit, that's the one that kind of stings me a little bit because that's the team that I really want to beat. Now I get it, we beat them in the playoffs, and the playoffs are a different thing. But you also want to see that your guys can match up. And of course, the playoffs are different beasts. And I know the team will play differently. But I just would like to see that win during the season because I don't want to give Detroit any more confidence than they need going into that series if we end up matching against them like at some point in the playoffs. But I'm happy with what we're getting. There is a little bit of inconsistencies that I'm seeing from Cat that I think we will address in this as we talk. That fans are talking about Brunson and how much they. I don't know. Do you? And I'll ask you this question because I'm gonna pass it back to you. Do you feel like fans are turning against Brunson because the way it comes off as is that all right, cool. Brunson's the guy. Brunson's changed his franchise around. The team is what it is because of Brunson and the things that Leon Rose, of course, has done to this team. But it feels like if we don't win a championship, I can see fans turning against this team because they're not getting it done. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on everything as far as the inconsistency from Cat that we want to see the dominant big man that he should be, and then what the attention that Brunson's getting these days?
Look, I think, unfortunately, it's okay keeping guys accountable. I'm okay with keeping Jalen Brunson accountable. Obviously, there are games where Jalen tries to play a little hero ball. We saw it in the game against Indiana, where they lost in overtime, where he should have been looking more for his teammates. Look, at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson's never going to be a Jason Kidd. Jalen Brunson's not going to be a Chris Paul. So, I'm sorry, we need Jalen Brunson to score. It's that flat out simple. Now, is he able to get guys involved? 100%. He's going to get guys involved. When he gets guys involved, the team does play better. The team moves better. But at the same time, this narrative of, we're losing because Jalen Brunson, that's stupid. That's just straight stupid. The Towns thing it's upsetting. It is upsetting because you got to get Cat involved. You know what I mean? We said it on many shows prior to today that there's too many times where Cat doesn't get the ball. The offense is not played around Cat. And you see the success the team has when Cat's involved. It's that simple. We don't even have to go into the numbers. Just watch the damn games. You know what I mean? When you said something about the Detroit thing, and you're right, regular season is very different than the playoffs. And I think that's the problem with Knicks fans. We get too high on regular season wins and we get too low on regular season losses. The Detroit thing that makes me a little bit upsetting, that makes me a little bit upset, is that the energy. And the energy's not there. This team is coming for your heads. Pause. They are. You know what I mean? And what's upsetting is that because then you see how the Knicks played against Denver. You see how the Knicks played against San Antonio on Sunday, where it's like, bro, that energy, that effort, we're beating Detroit easy. Easy. I'm sorry. I know Detroit is a very good team. Very good team. Not taking it away from them. They don't score enough. Outside of Cade Cunningham, they have zero playmakers. And this is why, if we can, if we can stay in that second or third seed, you can avoid Detroit to the Eastern Conference, which is a plus. But if you have to play Detroit, I'm not worried either because I know what this Knicks team has done in the playoffs. I know what they're capable of doing. You look at right now that matchup against the Spurs on Sunday. Look at how great defensively Mikal Bridges played. Anunoby played. The team played collective defense. Bridges finished that game with 25 points against the Spurs. This team knows when to hit the switch. And I think the coverages that the Knicks are throwing at Cade, I don't even think we're going to see that in the playoffs because they hedged a little bit on some double teams, but I really think they're going to force it out of Cade's hands in the playoffs. Now let's go back to the Cleveland matchup. The Cleveland matchup, they had no energy. They just played with zero energy. They didn't shoot the ball well. I'm not worried about Cleveland. Cleveland was already a team that had their question marks about their toughness and them always choking in the playoffs. And all they did was add a player who's known to choke in the playoffs. So I'm not worried about Cleveland. You know what I mean? Now, does the national media want to make it seem like we should be worried about Cleveland and then that? Yeah, that's their job. Am I worried about the Celtics? Bring on Jason Tatum. You think I'm scared of a minutes restricted Jason Tatum that's coming off an Achilles injury? You think I will be worried about that? No. Now, if you're talking next season, a full season of that, like, yeah, okay, that's a different story. I'm not worried about that. Not saying the Knicks can't lose to those teams. That's a different conversation. But to go in, brother, like some Knicks fans do, is to go in with this sense of fear that we should be afraid of these teams is crazy to me. This Knicks team, and you look at the context of these games, you look at right now, it looks like the Jeremy Sohan experiment is over, which is fine. I remember we talked about it when they brought him in. He's good to be an extra body. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him being an extra body. Hey, you know what I mean? Or especially on, on bum nights where, let's say, for example, you got Utah. You want to give guys a little, play him in there. Mo Diawara has taken that spot. Well deserved. Mo Diawara is going to be in a playoff rotation. I don't care what people say. I think he is going to be, because what he's playing with confidence. He's got the length, pause. He plays good defense. He makes the smart reads. He's going to be in that. And you saw the difference that he did in San Antonio in that game against the Spurs. He's going to be a big player in that rotation, and he strengthens the Knicks bench. And I will go back to saying this. The Knicks' problem last year in the playoffs was in their starting five. It was the lack of bench support. They're going to get that. And you're going to need Mo Diawara to pick it up because you don't know what you're going to get from Deuce McBride. We don't know if Deuce is going to be available. They say he is, but we don't know that yet. So right now, I like where we are. There's no need to panic. There's no need to break the emergency glass. This team, at the end of the day, we said it on the last show. Seeding is not going to matter to this team. This team has proved that they can win on the road. They did it in Detroit. They did it in Boston. This team is all going to be okay.
Right. There's still a team right now, as the moment as us recording, this is a team that's still third in the East. This is still a team that is fairly healthy, right? This is the team that is moving along the right way. And as far as the comments before about, like, let's say Brunson, where people are just concerned because he's shooting too much, because he's not your traditional point guard. You know what I love? Where's that traditional energy when it comes to Shai, Luka, Stephen, Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young, James Harden? These are a list of point guards who shoot more than they assist, but they don't got that energy for them. But you know what? Knicks fans are, they're in their own little bubble when it comes to things, and when they want to make their own point. You mentioned something that I really love, and it's the growth that we're seeing from Diawara. This is the type of players that we've been talking about since the beginning of this season, that we wanted to see our guys elevate, and we weren't going to get that under, or at least we expected it wouldn't have happened under Tibbs. We're seeing Mike Brown use Diawara the way that we want to see him, and he's growing. He's a guy that you want to see out there. You love what he brings to the table, and he's still young. At the moment of this recording, once again, this guy is only, what? He's 20 years old. Brother, 20 years old, and he's playing like this. The sky's the limit for this guy at this moment right now. I'm not saying he's going to be LeBron, but I'm saying he's going to be a worthy addition to this Knicks team and their roster going forward, because this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see guys grow up and not have to go and trade for that superstar elite player, or have to make a crazy trade so we can get other pieces. These are the things you want to see from the eventual things that you end up getting along the way. So I love what we're getting from Diawara and his play style. Josh Hart today was a perfect example. As the time of this recording, we just beat the Spurs. Josh Hart had a great game. He didn't have his shot tonight, but he did everything else right. And the effort we saw from OG, there were times that, yes, he oh man, he got postered. But there were times that he was on Wembanyama that we were just like, you know what? I love that energy. I love what we got from him. So this is a team that is exactly where they need to be. I'm not concerned about Cleveland. I'm not concerned about Detroit. I am concerned about the energy that they bring, and I would think that they bring better energy when it comes to the playoffs. But you just want to see that it's there already. I don't want to wait till the playoffs and be like, all right, they're going to turn it on, they're going to turn it on, they're going to turn it on, and they don't. I want to see that it's actually capable of happening.
No, 100%. And I think they will in the playoffs. I think the playoffs, you're gonna get everybody's best game. Guys are not coming off back to back. Guys are, are there's not a lot of travel, so you're gonna get that. But as you mentioned, brother, like I just think that Knicks fans they just need something to complain about at times, and that's what it is. Against that loss to Detroit, you would have thought the season was over. You would have thought the regular season was over, and I'm pretty sure right now, if I were to check Nick Twitter, we're going to the finals. It's probably being talked about after the Spurs victory. Look, you can't get too highs on the regular season. You can't get too lows. What I want to do is this. Before we get to the next schedule, you know what? Let's get this because that's gonna pivot to what I want to this bone I want to pick to about how people view the East and the West, because the Knicks do have a West Coast trip coming up. It's a tough schedule right now. So, brother, pop the schedule up. So this week in Knicks, the Knicks are, as we touched on, they've already played. This recording, they would have already played Toronto. So hopefully that's a win. We've done pretty well against Toronto this season. Seems like we're always playing them at Toronto, though. I thought it was always 2-2, but for some reason, I don't know why. It seems like we're always playing them in Toronto.
We got thrown a bone at the end of the season. We played Toronto at home, but yeah.
Okay, good. Tonight we got OKC. Don't know if I'm assuming SGA will play. Don't know if Dort is going to be suspended from the dirty play on Joker. And then Friday we wrap up with Denver on Friday. Sunday against the Lakers. That's another 3:30 ABC game. Yep. I want to talk about this, brother, and I want this narrative of that the East. Oh, the West is so much better. Oh, the West is the stronger conference. Does the West have deeper teams? 100%. But let's just be real. The West is just like the Eastern Conference. They have 3 to 4 legit teams that can win it all. That's it. No one views Minnesota as a title contender. No one views the Lakers as a title contender. No one is viewing those teams as title contenders. In the West, you're looking at who? You're looking at Denver, you're looking at OKC, and you're looking at San Antonio. I would throw Houston in there, but I think Houston not having a point guard is going to be detriment to them in the postseason. So you have a legit 3 to 4 teams that can win it all. Now you look at the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference has the same exact thing. The Knicks, the Celtics, the Pistons, and Cleveland. Yes, is the East a little bit more top-heavy than in the West? 100%. But at the end of the day, both conferences have 3 to 4 teams that can legit win. Both conferences, those 3 to 4 teams are not head and shoulders above one another. The Knicks are 2-1 technically against the Spurs. The Knicks are 1-0 against the Denver Nuggets, and obviously the Knicks play OKC tonight. You know what I'm saying? Detroit has beaten OKC. Yes, they played without SGA or whatever the case may be. Detroit, San Antonio has beat Detroit. Those teams, Cleveland almost beat OKC with no guys there. So these teams to think that, the West is this overpowered juggernaut. No, that's not the case. Last time I checked, OKC won in 7 games to the Pacers last year. Excuse me. And they had no Halliburton for Game 7. So miss me with that.
Brother, you just went off the script. Yeah, I know you wanted to talk about it, but you went off the script. So I'm going to reel you back in, all right? I'm going to bring you back. And you're valid. All your points are valid, because at the end of the day, you're right. If this was 10 years ago, let's have at it. The West is strong, and we already knew what it was. It was LeBron versus whatever team was on the West, and mostly it was Golden State, but the West was heavy, right? This isn't the same argument anymore. The teams aren't the same. There's a lot of balance across the league these days, and the teams that are at least at the top are the ones that we expect to be in the finals. There's no eighth seed Cinderella story coming out of these either divisions. So people need to change that narrative, and it's old. Let it go.
Yeah, you're right. Look, the Knicks right now are 12-7 against Western Conference teams. 12-7. Let me look up. The Pistons 15-7. The Cavs are 14-8. Let's look at Celtics. The Celtics are 13-6 as of this recording. Miss me with that shit that the Western Conference is so overly powerful than the East. Miss me with that. I just named you the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference have winning records in the Western Conference. Miss me with that. Like I said, I'm not saying that the West is not strong. I'm not saying that. Yes, is the West more balanced? 100%. But when we're talking true title contending teams, both conferences have 3 to 4. And in those 8 teams, if you want to pile them all up, they're not head and shoulders above one another. Maybe you can argue OKC is probably a little bit above everyone else. 100%, they're the champs. However, if it's anything that OKC showed, if there's anything that we saw in that finals last year is that OKC is not, they're not unbeatable. And it pains me to say this. Indiana could have easily won that finals had Halliburton not get hurt. Who knows what that game 7 looks like? So, miss me with all that. Oh, the West is this and this. No, I'm not. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of that stupid narrative. It is what you know. But brother, let's pivot. You got anything else you want to close out with?
No, I'm just.
All right. Knicks are
let's
looking
continue
good.
the season strong.
Let's continue the season strong, and obviously, guys, we're getting into the playoffs. So this is going to be a fun time in basketball. It's very important, and let's go Knicks. All right, brother. So let's pivot. We got to pivot to a little bit of wrestling because over the weekend, the WWE had their final PLE before WrestleMania, and that was Elimination Chamber. We got to discuss it, brother. So you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it, guys. This is Let's Talk Wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
All right, y'all. This is Let's Talk Wrestling. Guys, this is Let's Talk Wrestling. This is super producer Dave and I. We are covering professional wrestling. We are wrestling fans. And before we get in, so I went to SmackDown last week in Florida. So I'm walking to the arena, right, brother? And I overhear a couple behind me. I don't know what they were talking about, but then I heard the guy go, "Oh, I like AEW too." So I guess he's saying it's his girlfriend. And I looked back and I said, "I do too, brother. And it's okay. We're wrestling fans. It's okay to like the product." Like, you don't have to always just like AEW or always like WWE. You can like both. At the end of the day, they don't cut us checks. So we don't have to. We can watch both. But brother, let's talk about it, the Elimination Chamber. Obviously, the Elimination Chamber was live at Chicago. I just want to talk, before we get into the card, about just the storylines that was going into this event. Because you saw that they were struggling with ticket sales. And then just out of the blue, the WWE sells over 3,000 tickets in the last week, which is a little head scratching. But you know, WWE claims that it was a sellout, 19,000. Shout outs to them. Obviously, you know, you saw that WWE was trying to cut little mom and pop shops from viewing it, from having viewing parties, which was insane to think that they would do something like that. Given that your ticket prices are so expensive that, you know, why don't you do that instead of trying to, you know, cut the necks of mom and pop shops that are doing viewing parties? That's so greedy. But let's get into this card, brother. It was 4 matches. It just seems to be the occurring thing for WWE. Just 4 matches, pay-per-view, PLE. The Women's Elimination Chamber match. Obviously, we got the winner. We got Rhea Ripley. The contestants was I don't even have it in front of me. I should have had it in front of me. But we'll get into that. Let me
If
just
you
pull it
want,
up.
it's Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Kiana James, and Alexa Bliss.
There we go. Good shit, brother. Um, yeah. So obviously, it was a good chamber match. Obviously, the winner was going to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, and the winner was Rhea Ripley. Um, I'll just put it like this: Raquel Rodriguez was the star of the match, dominated, made her look very strong. I love that she was not only dominated the small women like Asuka and Tiffany Stratton, but she dominated the big girls like Rhea Ripley. Um, she was the star of the match, but I do understand why going to Rhea Ripley, the bigger match. It's what people tend to forget is WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, dog. WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of WWE. It's that simple. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. You have to have the mega stars against each other, and at the end of the day, although we would have maybe some people wanted to see Tiffany Stratton against Jade, a rematch. At the end of the day, this is a dream match. Even though I know people like to use that term, throw that term out loosely. It's a dream match. It's Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. It's two massive physique looking women that it's gonna draw eyeballs. I didn't hate the outcome. Now I do know that now people are highlighting because this is now Rhea Ripley's, I believe it's her fifth consecutive WrestleMania wrestling for the title. Or I think they mentioned it 5, but I also saw a post that I think it's 7.
Yeah, I think
But
7 sounds
whatever,
correct.
I think it's 7. I think it's 7. I think Michael Cole said 5, but it's 7, I believe it is. And I get that people are like, hey, this is a true example of create new stars, but at the same time, she's also in the ring with Jade Cargill. So I would like to think that Jade Cargill is a quote unquote new star. They brought her in. Yeah, she came from AEW with a name, but at the end of the day, she's not a Bayley. She's not a Charlotte Flair. So well, then again, I'm also biased because Jade Cargill is my girl, but I'm not mad at this. I like this match.
Brother, this is. All right. Clearly, I'm a comics fan, right? You've ever seen how they draw She-Hulk or just women of comics? They are ripped to the nines. My apologies. This is a comic book artist's dream to draw this match because these two women are insanely ripped. They probably will be in the best shapes of their lives for this WrestleMania. And let's navigate from that because at the end of the day, there's a story to be told here. This is Rhea Ripley. She is the product of WWE. She's probably the hottest thing in wrestling right now. I would say. As far as WWE's product goes, she's probably the hottest thing because we thought it was Cody Rhodes for some time, but we know how fans feel about that. We thought it was Jey Uso for some time, but we know how fans feel about that. Rhea Ripley is the top of the pyramid right now when it comes to WWE. To not include her in the title match just doesn't make sense.
Brother,
Now
when I
you
was
have,
there, on
yeah,
SmackDown, sorry to cut you off, she got one of the loudest pops. She got Cody Rhodes pop. She got, yeah, I like you said, brother. She is up there, like as far as the whole roster, not even
yeah.
women's, like the whole roster as far as popularity.
She's filling in that slot that Roman Reigns dominated for 3-4 years. So right now, to not have her in the title picture, it just doesn't make sense. Now you did bring up an argument that people are saying online: build up your stars. Look, we already saw Tiffany and Jade, and I'm a bigger Tiffany fan than I am Jade when it comes to wrestling skills. But that wasn't going to be the match that sold seats. That's not the match that people and anybody else in that chamber was not going to do it either. Raquel Rodriguez, love you, but you're not the person yet. I do believe in another year or two you can. Asuka, we already know who you are. You're one of the goats. So we're okay with you not being in the picture. Kiana James, you're up and coming. You're the newer star that appeared in that Elimination Chamber. You look great. You have a future ahead of you. We also have Alexa Bliss, who is just a veteran who also shown in this match. But of those contestants, Rhea Ripley was the clear cut. She should be number one, especially with Liv Morgan on the other side challenging Stephanie Vaquez. So we already knew that this is what it had to be, and I'm not mad at the result. So I'm looking forward to it. I have no issues with it as far as the result of what happened.
No, 100%, 100%. I think that's I think some people lose track of that. Like WrestleMania, you have to put the big matches. You have to put the biggest matches there. Like this is not Backlash. No disrespect to Backlash, but this is not Backlash. If you want to see, we always say it, right, brother? When we even in the group chat with Joey Wells, um, we're talking about it like, bro, this could have, especially we do it a lot with AEW. Bro, this could have been a collision match. This could have been that. So like when you touched on, like we love Raquel Rodriguez, but Raquel Rodriguez versus Jade is not, to me, it's not WrestleMania. Doesn't scream
Not yet.
WrestleMania.
Not yet,
Not
at
yet.
least.
Not yet. Exactly. But Rhea and Jay does. So, guys, I'm coughing. So if this sounds is like a little dead period because I'm muting. Try not to cough while on the microphone. Especially when on audio form. Imagine you driving to work and you got your car bumping the ozone and you hear no, you just heard it now. But
I'll save you guys and I'll work with the audio for that.
Yeah. Remember, guys, like and subscribe, comment, and everything. What you guys are thinking right now about this episode of Knicks, everything. What you thought about this Rhea Ripley thing. Let's get to the second match. Honestly, brother. So I was looking forward to this, right? I had a Jersey Mike sub right at the event. I had it booked. I was alone for the weekend. Wife was out of town. I had me a big ass Jersey Mike sandwich, brother. Steak, Mike's weight, everything. And I had it right before the pay-per-view. I was watching it, the first match. And then the itis kicked in because this match that came up next was boring as hell. It was Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee.
This is, brother, hold on. I got a question for you. I got to pause for you. Hold on. This is how interesting this match is. Did you get a cheesesteak sandwich from Jersey Mike's?
Yes, I did.
Better than Patsy's. Just good at that.
Oh, yes,
Pat's, right? Yeah.
Pat's, 100%.
A regular Jersey Mike's sandwich is better than Pat's.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much sidetracked. Guys, don't sleep on the Philly cheesesteak from Jersey Mike's. And I know you could get the Big Kahuna. I know a lot of people like to get that one. That's the one with the chipotle and the bacon or whatever. But y'all, don't sleep on. Look, there's Publix. All right, we getting sidetracked now. I don't care. Brother, there are sandwiches that I get Publix. If I want a hot, like I want tender sub, I want like a hot sandwich, I'm going to Publix. If I want a cold sub, like a cold Italian, anything like that, I go to Jersey Mike's. The only hot sandwich that I do get from Jersey Mike's is the Philly cheesesteak. Outside of that, I get all cold subs from Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's, plug us because I'm going to give another one. Brother, try the hot Italian from Jersey Mike's.
That's new, right? I saw it on the app.
Yes.
All right.
You remember the hot sandwiches we used to get from New York?
With spicy food, I got to make sure I'm at the crib. Let's just put it like that. I got to make sure I'm at the crib.
Right. Let's run it back to the match.
Let's. For guys that's audio, I'm doing the Jey Uso. But brother, I caught the itis in this match. Look, for AJ Lee fans, I'm happy she's back. It's cool. It's good to have her, but at the end of the day, she's just not a good wrestler. She's not a good wrestler. Becky Lynch tried as much as she can. This story has been kind of mid. The acting has been horrible. Like AJ Lee's promos ain't been good. Becky Lynch with the overreaction, like it's just I unfortunately this is not going to end. But it was not a good match, but AJ Lee wins. She's a new Intercontinental Champion.
So a few weeks ago, I spoke about, or as a matter of fact, when AJ Lee came back, I'm not the biggest AJ Lee fan, and the reason I say that is because when she was wrestling, and this is where I feel like when she was wrestling and she became hot, that's where I lost my love for wrestling for a few years. I wasn't there for the Yes Movement.
Division. I think she's more of a product of the division that it wasn't, she came like her tail end when she was leaving is when the revolution started, when you started getting in the Pages, the Charlottes, all that. Like she was in a whack era. No disrespect to like Beth Phoenix, and I was still going, but that Diva era was not good.
But no disrespect to AJ Lee as a wrestler. My thing is I'm just not the biggest fan of her because during that time I wasn't watching wrestling. Like I was gaming or we were out drinking and doing other things. Like I could care less about wrestling at the time. And AJ Lee
We're
was
in
one
our
of the
20s. Come
products.
on, what do you expect?
Right. So she was a product of the time that I just wasn't watching, so I'm not the biggest fan. She comes back, I'm not the biggest fan of her still. And I know fans have been asking for her for years, but I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing. And kudos to her for winning the belt. I guess it's another thing to add when she gets inducted to the Hall of Fame probably next year. But I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan. The only thing I like out of all this stuff is Becky Lynch and her promo work because it carries over to her Twitter, it carries over to everywhere else, and we know who she's impersonating, and I love it. I really do. The fans are saying they love it. You know, everyone else is saying that this is the best reviews that we've ever seen for somebody. So Becky Lynch, keep it up because we know we love you.
Becky Lynch has been good. Her promos, it's just her acting has just been horrendous.
Yeah.
Like her acting has been horrendous. Like, but yeah, let's move on. You know, she wins. I don't think the storyline is over. Like, I think I don't know. No, knowing WWE, they're probably gonna get a Mania match
And a SummerSlam match.
It might go to SummerSlam. Then we go to the men's match. The men's heavyweight title match is CM Punk went against Finn Balor, and that match. You know what's funny? As I was thinking about it, and I'm gonna have you pop it up in a little bit. As I was watching this match, I was thinking about, bro, I think it's got to get to the point where I remember when AJ Styles retired. Shout out to AJ Styles. He said he wanted to retire because he didn't want to become like a shell of himself, right? Like he and some people feel like, bro, you haven't even gotten to that yet. You could still put 5-star matches, which he can. He felt he was getting that to that level, right? CM Punk needs to talk to AJ Styles then. Because CM Punk is god awful. I'm sorry. He's not good. Finn Balor carried that match. And maybe I thought, okay, maybe I'm going a little too hard on CM Punk. Maybe I'm going a little too hard. Am I more towards the AEW where I'm hating on CM Punk? I thought that. But then WWE's top guy even tweeted it after the event. And brother, if you can post it. Even Roman Reigns, he posted how freaking slow CM Punk is. Like, bro, like, so it's like, bro, not like. Honestly, I will be honest. Like, I love. You mentioned it with Becky. I love when the wrestlers use their social media platforms. You know what I mean, to further storylines. I like that. But when you have Roman Reigns tweet something like, not sure who looked more tired, the crowd or the champion, enjoy this final month of relevancy, bro, that's crapping on the product, dog. That is literally crapping on the product. And that's crapping on your world champion. I think there's other ways to do that where, like, I don't know, man, that's not a good look. That's not a good look because basically you have your top guy basically speaking for a lot of fans that felt like this show was kind of whack. Because we saw Chicago is a great wrestling town, but they were very quiet for a lot of spots in this event. And you have your top guy tweeting that. And look, I just said it. I was literally thinking that as the match was going on, like, yo, Punk looks slow and old. Obviously we're gonna get to predictions when we preview WrestleMania, but I think this match was very telling of what I think CM Punk's future is gonna look like. Based off the comments Roman said.
It's matches like this that make you just feel like, yo, Punk is like, you're retiring soon too, right? Like,
yeah,
your time is coming up.
I thought the AJ comment, like, if AJ thought that about himself, which is not true, somebody need to speak to Punk.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Like, some guys can just change their style up as far as how they wrestle. CM Punk can find a way to make it work for him. A slower pace, methodical, but I feel like this guy's still trying to wrestle like it's 2009. And it's not. You don't have it. You don't have that at all. If you were to change your style up and be like, I don't know. There's a different way to wrestle. You could be a stronger man, grown man strength. Like, there's so many different ways to approach it. You don't have to be the CM Punk of 2009 or the one that everybody grew up loving. Like, you can change your style up, and that's what's hurting this run for him. Don't get me wrong. I love a fighting champion. I love when the belt is always on the line. I love to see that. But it's getting painful to watch him when you can see the person across the ring clearly deserves that belt. Finn Balor, it's a shame, and we say this as fans of the game. It's a shame that Finn Balor has stood in WWE so long because it has been terrible. This guy was one of the best wrestlers in the world coming into WWE. The potential was there, and his NXT run was great. Got the Universal Championship, got hurt, came back, sent him back to NXT, had another great run at NXT. But the guy clearly is not being used to the potential he can be used. I'm telling you, brother, if he went back to New Japan, if he went to TNA, if he went to AEW, which I would love more, we would be seeing the 5-star matches with Finn Balor that we know he is capable of. The problem with Finn Balor is complacency, and he's okay with the money he's getting because you keep taking L's, which is fine.
Right?
It's a storyline, right? They don't,
right? Yeah.
Right, like it's a storyline. It's wrestling. We already know it's scripted, so the L's don't matter as much. But it's the fact that you just haven't done nothing, so it has to be complacency,
brother. Like I think that's a. Not saying you're making that decision. You're highlighting what people talk about. Oh, wins and losses don't matter. It's prescriptive. Yeah, but it's perception. If you keep losing, no one's gonna care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're right. And I think the thing is, bro, no one went into that event thinking Finn Balor was gonna win.
Nope.
Because everyone knows that they're gonna go with CM Punk, Roman Reigns. They have to sell tickets. They're struggling to sell tickets for WrestleMania, which is crazy to think that you've got over 35,000 people for 2 nights, and that's considered struggling. But to their standards, it's considered struggling. And let's be honest, it is. But yeah, like you just went in, you knew Finn Balor wasn't gonna win, and now that he lost, now it's like, okay, let's continue with Punk and Roman, and where does that leave Finn Balor now?
I mean, the inevitable turning against the Judgment Day, becoming babyface, or the Judgment Day kicking him out, or whatever. Like it's that storyline. The Judgment Day dissembling is the one I guess right. So I see what the title picture for it probably being Dominic versus Finn Balor for the belt at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna get.
Yeah,
brother, we did have a surprise ish.
Let's get to that. Right, I was gonna get to the main event with the other surprise. Yeah, so obviously the box that's been teased for several weeks of this big crate, it ended up being what people thought it was. Obviously, the Dirt Sheets reporting that it was going to be Danhausen, which it was. I don't know why people thought it would be Jericho or Vince McMahon. Like, bro, for the older wrestling fans, the gobbledygooker, that's what that screamed to me. Like, no serious guy. You think Jericho was coming out of a damn crate? No way.
After weeks?
That's the kiss of death. That's the kiss of death. And unfortunately for Danhausen, his WWE career has ended before he even started. Because he did initially get a nice pop when he came out, but then they booed him. And they booed him in Chicago. So...
And this is a town that's familiar with Danhausen because AEW goes over there. We've seen him there. This is like this is a town that knows wrestling. They just don't know WWE. They know wrestling. The problem is the way that everything was done. Like, don't get me wrong, it was cool to see Danhausen come out that box. He didn't talk. He came out to the mic. They did the dance number, and then great. So now we got let's write out his future. We have a lot of scripts with R-Truth. And Tozawa and The Miz, and we already know where this is going. So, unfortunately for Danhausen, and mind you, Danhausen is not a guy that we end up being expecting to be in the IC belt, US belt title picture.
He's
That's not the guy.
Headline of WrestleMania, right?
He's a guy who's made a name for himself doing what he does, and which is great for him and fans of him. But he just doesn't fit this. I mean, the money's good, I guess, for what you're going to end up doing, but it didn't go over on fans, especially the ones that were there in Chicago.
Yeah, I think you can add him to the list of AEW guys that are going to... Grass is not always greener. Royce Keys, where has he been since his debut in Royal Rumble?
And this is not to knock any man crying, but he's been crying on podcasts. That's as much as I've seen
Yeah,
from
and that's
Ray's
kind of
piece.
tough. I probably wouldn't have put that out there because he's supposed to be the tough guy. And look, we're not saying that men can't cry. Like, no, we're not saying that.
That's not what I'm trying to get to.
But that's not what we're trying to say. But the thing is,
That's
you're
what
right,
we've
brother.
seen.
Like this guy's supposed to be you're building as a tough guy from Compton, and then you throw out a podcast where obviously he's talking about things where he feels vulnerable. It's a safe space for him to talk. I don't think that should have been out right now at that moment. So I agree with you on that. As we said, perception. But let's get to the main event, brother. The Elimination Chamber, the men's match was Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, not Javon Williams, as the ring announcer botched that one. Trick Williams and Logan Paul. One I want to shout out is this. I get it with Logan Paul. I do. The guy has millions of followers. The guy, he's viral. I get it. But him beating Javon Evans and Trick Williams, unacceptable to me. Unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
In Black History Month.
And Black History, yeah. Well, we already know how Triple H feels about black wrestlers. Let's call it a spade a spade. The proof's in the pudding. If you want to hear that, listen to MVP talk about that. But my thing wasn't even that, brother. It's like these are the two. You guys want to talk about up and coming, bring up talent. These are your one of your hottest talents right now. Logan Paul's already got to where he is. I don't think there's any higher level Logan Paul can get to. Why are you giving Logan Paul that victory? Why?
He doesn't need that rub. He does. And the wrestling term is he doesn't need the rub.
He doesn't need it. He does not need it. And then not only does he eliminate them, he eliminates LA Knight. So it's like, bro, why don't you give that to Trick Williams? First of all, and then the crazy part that gets me more upset about all of that, brother, is that you end up getting the reveal of the Masked Man, which ends up being Seth Rollins, causing Logan Paul to lose the match. That should have happened in the beginning. Logan Paul should have been the first one eliminated. That's what that should happen because you still get Logan Paul getting robbed without sacrificing your two young talent that you're building. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that made zero sense to me because you already were going to have Logan Paul get cheated out. So why not have that in the beginning? Why not have the freaking Masked Man come out, cost Logan Paul, he's the first one eliminated. That's more humiliating than what they did.
Do you feel like, all right, we've seen that happen a few times already in the chamber. We've seen that happen with who was it, Jade last year?
Mm-hmm.
Jade last year, that Naomi went crazy and she eliminated her first or whatever. Before the match had even started. We've seen that in other Rumble. I mean, I keep saying Rumbles, but Elimination Chambers.
They could have done that again. I would have been perfectly fine with that.
Right.
I would have been perfectly fine with that.
Brother, with this match, I'm upset with the way, yes, we lost Trick Williams and Evans because of Logan Paul. I did love the moment that, and Twitter's undefeated. The internet's undefeated, but Twitter especially. They had, they said Javon, Trick, and Raheem beating up on Logan Paul. And it got me laughing as I'm coming off the plane because I was on the airplane when this was going on. But it's moments like that.
Now I get it. Because it was Cody and I forgot the whole Raheem thing. Oh, snap. I forgot.
So that was a beautiful thing to see. When I come off the plane, I ended up watching the chamber this morning, but when I come off the plane and I see like finishing Black History Month with this clip, like that was hilarious. The spot with LA Knight where he apparently botched. Well, yes, LA Knight has had a lot of botches. Unfortunately for him, it happened again in a spotlight moment. And it happened also to Finn Balor in the same exact turnbuckle where he ended up slipping himself. And it's just like he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt because, one, he should have been over. He should have had a belt on him that's not a U.S. belt a long time ago. And I feel like it's just his run is crashing and burning as it goes. But unfortunately for him, that botch moment happens. And then we get the way that, the final. And I think I want you to cover this a little bit more. When it comes to how everything finished with this match.
Well, look, obviously what happens is I like the finish. I love the finish how the Logan Paul, Seth Rollins coming in and they hit Drew McIntyre, my bad. Drew McIntyre comes in. I know Wells is not a big fan of this chicken shit heel run McIntyre's having. And I kind of agree with him on that. I hate big statured champions being chicken shit. I'm not saying be the tough guy because that's very baby faces, but to be the chicken shit heel, I like that more from small heel world champions like an MJF. But you get McIntyre coming in. He's trying to cause Rhodey. He's trying to cause Cody Rhodes from winning. Obviously, they double team him. Cody Rhodes and this is getting crazy. Cody Rhodes hits him with a crossroads, at least to the RKO, whatever the case may be. I think it was RKO, then the crossroads. But then Randy Orton capitalizes. Bam! Right there, instant RKO, pins Cody Rhodes. I like it because at the end of the day, Randy Orton is the Viper. And although it's not DTA, that Stone Cold thing, but at the same time, you don't trust a snake. And Randy Orton capitalized. I'm happy that Randy Orton did win this match. It had, obviously, we all know the history connection between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton from their days at Legacy. But I did like the finish. I think the finish was great. I thought the right guy won. I think Randy Orton has been out of the title picture for a lot, and I wouldn't mind Randy Orton being back in the title picture, although I'm not the biggest of Randy Orton fans. But look, then it came out at the post show. Nick Aldis has said that Cody Rhodes being that Drew has been trying to make Cody life miserable, that they're gonna have a world title match on SmackDown. That I don't like because I could see what's gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna get Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton at WrestleMania. You're hearing the rumors that it might be a multi-man match with Cody and Jacob Fatu, which I think would be okay. But I would not be surprised if Cody Rhodes beats Drew McIntyre on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised, not one bit. And we end up getting Rhodes and Orton, which we probably should have gotten last year, but I know the whole Cena thing. But we should have gotten that a long time ago, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we get at WrestleMania.
We're definitely getting a triple threat or a fatal four-way. I'm leaning more towards a triple threat. I don't know if Fatu ends up in this matchup. I can see him being a pest.
Fatu, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I can see Fatu being a pest in this storyline, but I think the match that we end up getting at Mania will be Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre. Yes, I think because Drew gets his rematch clause and he's going to save it to WrestleMania. I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I get it. Cody Rhodes is your guy. He's the number one ticket seller as far as the men go.
QB1.
Right. He's the ticket seller. He's the one who moves all the merch. We get that. I mean, Jey Uso's probably like right above him right now, but we get who Cody Rhodes is, and we understand why he's in the picture. I just don't like it. Like, you just had this whole Elimination Chamber match, and because of what happened, hey, you know what? You get a reward. You lost, but hey, you get a reward, and you get another match. I get it, to storyline or whatever. It just doesn't play off great. I think there's other ways that we could have done this. We even could have had it where it leads up to where, and then Nick Aldis is just like, you know what, you deserve this match with him because Drew won't leave you alone. We're gonna put you in there. There's other ways this could have played out. The other thing I also saw was that, all right, let's say Cody wins this match, Drew doesn't get his rematch. What they were saying is there's the possibility, and they've been saying this for years, is that we get Drew McIntyre versus Nick Aldis. I don't think that happens. I don't think that WWE is going to have him wrestle. I don't know what was the deal with him.
That would be so dope. I like Nick Aldis, man. I like his days as Magnus and TNA. I don't understand why you have a talent like that and he's not wrestling.
Right, and I don't know if it's a medical thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know his story as far as that.
I don't think it is, because there've been stories that he wants to wrestle. I just think that's just a WWE thing.
Right. So maybe we get that matchup, and I would love to see it. I would love to see it because we know that Drew can go and Nick Aldis as well as Magnus. But overall, I'm happy. I'm not a paying fan when it comes to your PLEs to watch at home because I will use a VPN. And I'm happy that I didn't pay for tickets to go to an event like this. This is the things that are upsetting, and I get the Chicago crowd where they're not into it because this is just... Brother, how do we say it better? Like, this is not the greatest product that we experienced maybe when WWE was hot maybe 2 years ago. Like, it's just been flaming out. And it doesn't help that if you're a wrestling fan, AEW is picking up at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say this before we move on. When I went to the show on Friday, that was the first time I've been to a WWE show in, I want to say, 6-7 years. In that time, between that time, I've gone to several AEW shows. For a live experience, some people consume a live experience very different. If you want to see wrestling, I just think AEW is the better live show. TV shows on WWE, it's much suited for television. It's not suited for the live crowd. There's too many dead periods within the show where the screen is black and you're just looking at the same constant promos for upcoming shows and that sort of thing, Make-A-Wish things. And now with every podcast all these guys got, you saw basically like an infomercial for Stephanie's podcast, Cody's podcast, Undertaker's podcast, Kevin Owens, whatever. That's all you saw. So the promos, like there's too many backstage vignettes, too many backstage promos. So it's like, yeah, on TV it looks good, you're watching it, but when you're live, you're looking at a dark ring with just it on a Tron. Like it's not a good experience. Excuse me. And then the matches, the pace is very slow compared to an AEW show. Obviously, AEW runs smaller venues, so it feels more intimate. It feels like you're part of the show as opposed to WWE. So, and then obviously the ticket prices is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I literally only went to SmackDown because I waited an hour before the show because I refused to pay $70 just to get in to see a SmackDown show. So, and it doesn't look like things are going to change, brother. They're trying to find every way that they can to fill stadiums without lowering the ticket costs. So, it is what it is. But guys, let us know in the comments below, what do you think of this WrestleMania? I mean, of the build up to WrestleMania. Some of the matches are already set so far. What did you think of Elimination Chamber? What was the booking? Let us know in the comments below. But brother, we got to talk about some other news that's involving around sports, and we got to get to it quick. This is Quick Hits. All right, y'all, this is Quick Hits. This is where we cover everything around the globe. The hits come at you so quick, you don't see it coming. Brother, the World Baseball Classic is underway. It's actually getting started today. A lot of talented countries. You got a lot of them. U.S., Japan, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. We got a lot of them, brother. Who do you think is the favorite to win?
Honestly, brother, it's U.S. I'd say USA is the deepest lineup on paper as far as teams. But Japan is the team that I'm looking at. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on Japan.
I gotta disagree with you on the deepest lineup. I think DR got that.
Okay.
I think DR.
I think they got raw power. Like they got the more
probably balance. Yeah, because that's the thing too. Like with these World Baseball Classics, we do look at the names, but then it doesn't all like. I'm gonna be like, look, this is gonna sound stupid. Having 9 Aaron Judges is great, but sometimes you need guys to table set. You need guys to work a walk. You need guys to look. Don't go for the home run. Get on base. Leave it for the next guy ahead. Pass the baton. So that does factor in. Ego, you know what I mean? Not having an ego. I would say this, as you said, Japan, they've won the most World Baseball Classics so far. They're always a favorite. I also think, excuse me, it's because when their season is played, they're already in, their guys are already in that midseason form. But I would say this, if this team is focused and stay away from the clubs in Miami, I'm going with DR. I think DR is the favorite.
Good luck with that happening, brother. All right, brother. Let's keep it in baseball. As our Yankees and Mets are starting playing spring training ball, is there any early performances you're impressed with?
Yeah, the Yankees. The Yankees spring training is going. I like what I see. Obviously, you gotta like what you see from the young players. Guys look good. Guys look healthy. Obviously, with Giancarlo Stanton, it's just him not being able to open up a bag of potato chips or whatever. Like that's something. but I don't. Hold on, man. And I'm drawing a blank right now. And Yankee fans are gonna be like, "You call yourself a Yankee fan?" Oh man, this kid, man, he's as big as Judge. Uh, damn, what's his name? He's one of our top prospects right now. Why am I drawing a blank? Why am I drawing a blank? Hold on, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get Spencer Jones. Sorry, Spencer Jones. My bad, y'all.
Center fielder.
I like what I've been seeing from him. They look like they changed his batting stance a little bit. He's got more like the Otani. People are comparing it to Otani's motion. But he's been ripping some bombs so far this spring. And it's good to look at. Like, obviously, he's a guy that, you would want to see in the majors pretty soon. So I am impressed with Spencer Jones spring training.
And I'm going to stay with just the same thing as you. I'm impressed with the Yankees as far as, like, you know what? Pieces are coming right at the right time, and we always knock the Yankees for bringing this up later on, where they're like, we don't need to trade for nobody. We got people coming in, but we got Garrett Cole coming in at, let's say, June. We have Rodon coming in April, May. There's pieces coming back to make this starting lineup that if they're all healthy, and we know the shoe's going to drop, somebody's going. It happens. It's baseball. Something always happens. But if this team is as healthy as it can be going into October, the sky's the limit for this Yankee team. Like you just said, like you mentioned somebody that we're looking at that he has potential, Spencer Jones, but we also re-signed Trent Grisham, who, while we're not excited because we thought there were other pieces that were out there, the guy was clutch when he needed to be. The guy played really well. We brought back Cody Bellinger, which we're happy to see because he was right under Judge when it came to like the stats that we got last year. Judge is the piece, the needle that moves everything on this team, and we also have why am I drawing a blank on his name? Max Fried. Max Fried played great last year. He sucked in the playoffs, but he played great last year, and I feel like this team can really compete against the Blue Jays. I feel like they can compete with the Red Sox, and also
like
this is
Brian
their. No, I do. I feel like they can compete. I didn't say they're going to win the games. I said they could compete. They can go against the Mariners and all those other teams in the league that should be our focus and not the Dodgers. But I think out of the two teams, the Mets Yankees, I'm more excited about the Yankees lineup at this moment. That could change, but let's see how it plays out when we cover it more in a few weeks.
Yeah, look, I want to shout out the Mets though too. Noah McLean looked good in his first start, 4 innings. He didn't give up any runs. He has 6 strikeouts. Obviously, we know what Nolan McLean is going to be. And obviously Freddie Peralta too. Freddie Peralta, he looked good in his first spring training start. So the Mets, that's a very pivotal for the Mets. Is what their pitching is going to be. I know people were really hard on Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette made, I think, in his first play, he made like an error or whatever. He's going to be fine at third base. I did get a laugh though that Devin Williams' first spring training pitch was a home run. So I don't know if you saw that, brother. Devin Williams' first spring training pitch as a Mets, he gave up a home run.
Sign of things to come. Should have signed Diaz.
It might be a sign of things to come for the Mets. But guys, we will be definitely in the next couple weeks. We will be getting into previewing the Mets and the Yankee season because opening day is very, very soon. But brother, let's pivot to the NFL because it was reported over the weekend, the NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, that Kyler Murray is likely to be released from the Arizona Cardinals, barring any last-minute trade, with the Jets being that team rumored to be the favorites to land him in a trade, or maybe even if he gets dropped. Brother, is this the right move for the Jets?
I think it's the right move at the time because they're not able to get Mendoza as far as the quarterback. So we already saw that this kid decided that he's going to stay another year. And I was one of those people who said, like, you know what? You don't have to go for a quarterback this time. Just go and build your pieces around it. Get a Kyler Murray. If you have to trade for a first rounder of the two that you have this year, go ahead and trade it.
I'll give you that.
Go ahead and get a Kyler Murray. See what you get for him at least for 1 year. And find out what your team is at the end of this year. Unfortunately for the Aaron Glenn, it probably will be your last year because there's a potential of
my man Sleepy McGee.
Sleeps.
Can you throw the image of him sleeping?
I got the GIF. I got you.
You got the GIF. Sleepy McGee.
I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but the Steelers coach who just who left, Mike
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's available next year, and I think that the Jets need to do all they can to get the pieces to get him, just like the Giants did to go get Harbaugh. So I feel like this would be the right move for them, because if you leave him for chance and you wait till they release him, another team could swoop in and give him a better deal that they need. The Vikings could use him, and other teams as well. So I think the Jets need this move. What do you think?
All right. I think they should. I think Kyler Murray. It's his motor. Obviously, I know he's a short stature quarterback. It's his motor. Whether he's motivated to play. You know what I mean? When you have to, obviously we all know the stories of, in his contract, they had a practice clause or learning the playbook clause in his contract. It's the motor. Like, the talent is there if he's healthy, and the talent's there. And I'm gonna be honest, he'll be the best Jets quarterback in several years if he's there. So, and you can build up, like you said, if you have now Kyler Murray, like you said, brother, now you can get the best available players at the draft,
Yep.
as opposed to forcing yourself to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you just plan ahead. If you have another sucky year with him, hopefully you get a top 2 pick. You then draft a quarterback, which presumes to be a more quarterback friendly draft next year, and then you get Mike Tomlin. But I just want to pivot real fast. I want to just, because this just popped up on my Twitter. This is Dove Kleiman. He just tweeted, the Giants may end up reshaping their roster in a major way with shocking moves set to happen. This is according to, he tweeted this because this is according to Jordan Ronan. He's from ESPN NFL Nation. He covers the Giants. He said, John Harbaugh and company are really going to reshape this roster. We are going to get probably shocked by some of the things that happen here. The Giants will be true contenders next season. Now, I just want to say this. I do think that the Giants are going to trade Kayvon Thibodeau. I know this is not on the script, brother, but I do think the Jets will get Murray. We'll move on real quickly. I think the Giants trade Kayvon Thibodeau. I do think so. I think we've seen when Abdul Carter needs to be on the line. I don't think him being Michael Parsons, that hybrid, not working, put him on the line. That's where he has the most success. I think Kayvon Thibodeau gets traded, and I do think the Giants end up making some move to maybe get a Jalen Waddle or somebody to that caliber on his team. I think the Giants, or maybe create some sort of cap space, bring in Mike Evans, but I could see the Giants doing something like that.
Yeah, I definitely think this is the time. Like, this is what the Giants wanted. They wanted somebody who was going to come in there and shake things up. You're going to see the pieces that don't work for you. You're going to see the pieces that have the most value for trade value. And I think that this is the perfect time to do it. You do it now, so that way you already know what you're going into with the draft. I don't like so many moves happening after the draft when you could have done it before. So this is the right team for the right time for the Giants to be doing this kind of thing. And at this point, I trust Harbaugh until there's no need to trust Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
So I would say let it play out.
Yeah, so let's keep it with the NFL because obviously another big name might be leaving his team. As it was reported by Jeremy Fowler from ESPN that David Montgomery wants out of Detroit. The Lions are open to moving Montgomery, brother, for a 5th-round pick. Brother, is this a smart move for the Lions?
I say yes, lose him while you can, right? Because the guy's just getting older, and I'm sure another team could use him, and getting a 5th-round pick, fine. Whatever you get from that is fine. But I think that this is the right time to move David Montgomery. Jameer Gibbs is just a stud when it comes to that stuff. And it did help when they had that 1-2 punch with the both of them, but David Montgomery wasn't that guy this year. So I think this is the time to just unleash Jameer Gibbs and go ahead. Hey, the Vikings could use him. The Vikings just let go of Aaron Jones, so they can definitely pick up a piece like that.
Yeah,
So
I think David Montgomery as a starter can still be good for a team. It's just a product of, bro, you're playing behind arguably the best running back in the game. You know what I mean? Detroit. I think Detroit. If you can get a 5th-round, 4th-round pick for David Montgomery, hey, that's good for you. And then maybe you can with that pick you can draft the predecessor to Gibbs eventually later. So yeah, I think it'll help for both parties. Detroit gets a pick. Montgomery can get more snaps and more opportunity elsewhere.
brother, let's switch it up because we're going to be going to Vegas. Lastly, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao will fight each other again in the first ever match in the Spear. This event will take place on September 19th on Netflix. Should we be excited for this match?
Hell no. Who the hell want to see this? I'll be honest. Let's be honest, brother. Nobody wanted to see the first time they wrestled. The first time they fought because it was already 10 years too late. And now you want to see it now. And now I'm hearing that it's because Floyd is doing bad with bread. I don't know if that's true, but nobody wants to see this. No, like, I think it's perfect that it's on Netflix because it's, I guess, technically free. Well, not free, but with memberships and whatever. But no one cares. I don't. What about you?
It's gonna be on. I'm probably gonna either be
Yeah,
at someone's
right.
house or I'm
Exactly.
gonna
It'll be
host it.
on.
It's gonna be on.
Yeah.
But excited? I think the first thing because I got off the plane and I saw it and I sent the Steve Harvey gift that I love sticker that I love using. That's exactly my face when I saw this. Like I'm not excited to see first of all Pacquiao. Like you're like Jesus Christ, go, just sing in your country. Go over there and
Right.
sing to your
And
people.
drink your pee.
And yeah, and Mayweather, I'm just over it. You're one of the best of all time, but these little like one offs, like we get it. You just need money. So I'm
That's
over
what
it.
you're hearing.
I'm
Yeah,
over
I
it,
don't
brother.
care. Yeah, it is what it is. But guys, we're available on all platforms, y'all. We're available on all platforms: YouTube, Audio Now, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So you know where to tap in with your boys. But guys, we cannot wrap up an episode without sharing with you guys the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. Highlight of the week is going to go out to a certain player that continues to take L's in Madison Square Garden, but this play isn't an L because highlight of the week is going to go to Victor Wembanyama as he had a monster dunk against OG Anunoby. Look, here at the Ozone, we give credit when credit is due, and if a top play was made, even at the expense of our guys, we're gonna put it. Great dunk. Hey, I just love that Anunoby, who blocked Stephon Castle early in the game, is even willing to go up against 7 foot. What is Wemby? 7'2", 7'3", or whatever, to even challenge Victor Wembanyama. But Victor Wembanyama, man, the guy barely has to jump. But a phenomenal play out of Victor Wembanyama. He had a good game. Obviously, you could tell he loves playing at Madison Square Garden. Big game, but he also took a big L in that game, so I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, I mean, he got Mitchell Robinson with the fake and just took off and went straight to the to dunk it, and it looked amazing. Guys, I'm sorry
Yeah.
if you're listening to this on podcast form. I appreciate you listening because we appreciate the numbers. But if you haven't seen it, go to the video and check it on YouTube because this one's a good one.
Check it out, y'all. Yeah, so as super producer Dave said, guys, we are now available on all audio pop the top audio platforms you can think of, which is Spotify and Apple Music and Apple Podcasts. But it's very important that you also follow us on our social media handles, guys, because this is where we post daily Knicks scores, breaking news, everything that you can think of. Obviously, shout outs to CC Sabathia. We posted CC Sabathia will be getting his number retired in Monument Park this season. We posted that. We're posting everything, guys. So it's important that you follow us. Not only do you follow us on Spotify, our Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, like, subscribe, do all that, share our stuff, but also follow us on our social media handles. We are available on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Reddit, guys. So we're everywhere. We are
And
everywhere.
and it is, guys, just to piggyback off what Omar said, this is important why you should follow us. I was gone for Puerto Rico for quite some time. We missed what would have been 2 episodes, but Omar did not let you guys down. He was still keeping you up to date with the content, the schedules, the scores, everything that we needed to know. And I want to give my flowers to him for thank you for holding the fort down while I was getting some rest and relaxation. And just like, share, subscribe, follow us on the different platforms that you have. And if you already do, share it to somebody else. Maybe they don't see it. Maybe they don't follow it. So you never know.
Yeah, that's right. Hey,
Repost it.
look,
Retweet it. You never
repost it.
know.
That's important too. It's like, and shout out to those that reposted. You guys know who you are. We're watching.
Yes.
We're watching. Funny enough,
Always
somebody
watching you.
there was a follower that we got on Instagram that actually screenshotted our stuff and posted it as his. I don't know if he posted it as his. He posted one of the Nick scores, and he put it along with other Nick pages, like their final score. So I don't know, but
Imitation is
watching.
is this most sincere form
We're
of
not hating
flattery
it.
that I've ever seen. So I love it.
Yeah, we're not hating it. Just and shout outs. We're growing on Twitter. There's a lot of people now that's starting to watch us on Twitter. Guys, Super Producer Dave keeps our Twitter handles there. Tap in with us, guys. Look at Super Producer Dave has some really nice shots of Puerto Rico. Check out his Instagram. He had a lot of nice videos, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be posting some more. So, guys, we love y'all. Thank y'all for holding it down for the 2 weeks. We are back and rolling, guys. Like we said, the road to WrestleMania is upon us. New York Knicks, we are on the final stretch. We're gearing to the playoffs. The baseball starting. World Baseball Classic is here. Yankees, Mets, everything's getting. We got the NFL draft. Puerto Rico, hopefully we can do something. God knows they've been against us, this World Baseball Classic and the insurance companies, but nobody's against the Ozone because we are here every Wednesday delivering the fire. So in the meantime, in between time, peace and love, and we see y'all next week. Peace!
Yeah, the tone stay polling. If it's New York sports, welcome to the Ozone. Woo! Welcome to the Ozone.